Hello, everyone.
So where am I stuck at?
So we've just learned what good or excellent performance or paid media performance marketing looks like in the US. I'm going to get right to it. It's no secret that one of the biggest gaps that we have in this market here is, well, tracking. Tracking just is not up to the standards that, well, to a degree we're used to seeing around the world, but certainly in other verticals, other channels in digital. Why the hell is that still the case 10 years in?
Well, I don't want to call anyone out who's not in this room. We have been speaking about tracking on basically every panel since yesterday.
Right.
And we're probably the least attended panel of the entire conference, which to me leads to, I don't know that operators understand what they are missing out on from not providing proper tracking to their partners and for themselves. And I also think it's been a gold rush, right? Operators have a lot of focus on getting live in new states. Operators have had the need to compete with each other on very high rates where they are trying to buy traffic as quickly as possible. And they're not trying to optimize, they're not trying to spend more responsibly. And I think now the rug's being pulled under from a lot of the industry with the fact that we need to become more responsible, and how they're currently doing it is not feasible at scale. And I also think there's been a natural distrust, and I think we mentioned this, someone mentioned this 2 panels ago, that the word affiliate in the US market has had a little bit of a bad taste in people's mouths, whether it was pre-PASPA, post-PASPA, when gambling became legal again. And I think there's a lack of trust from brands in terms of understanding that the more data they give their partners, the better it is for them long term. And I think we're starting to understand that now, but I just think there's been a large education need in the industry in terms of the value of having proper data internally and sharing proper data with partners. I think we're getting there, but we're still far behind.
Tomas?
Yeah, I think we need to pick up on the conversation they were having before, actually, about TikTok and not being able to give you back. Those platforms are not able to give you back the feedback you need, because all you know is you have views, and then what? How do you engage back to that? And that's just due to the fact that there is actually no proper tracking, right? So you cannot take any proper action. You do not understand. So you're throwing money at something which absolutely you have no idea what it's giving you back. When you actually invest in tracking solutions, they will give you back. They will make you understand where you're putting your money and if you're putting it in the right place or in the wrong place. And that's the difference. And you need a mix of both, of course, because we can't live in a world where we don't use TikTok. Though I think the American market needs to understand a bit more about what is actually the interest of the tracking and how it is used and how it gives you back basically the information you need on your ROI, on your player value, and how it is best to then invest your money.
You agree, Assaf?
Definitely agree with both distinguished members right to me. It's an education challenge that we have. So tracking is fundamentally business intelligence, and business intelligence that needs to be focused on performance and revenue and profits from these channels. So as other channels are being dissected and analyzed in depth, this channel has been neglected. And these practices are, in other markets, they are much more advanced. So in Europe, we see people that have built basically different KPIs and different incentive models for their departments. So it stems from that. It's about education on the operator level to structure an affiliate department that focuses on profit. And yeah.
This market, it's 10 years old. It is, for many affiliates, the most commercially viable market to be in right now. And I guess consequently for operators as well. It's often seen as a golden goose worldwide. What possible reason is there for operators to not yet have, not be in a position where they're providing the necessary transparency to their affiliate partners, I use that word, to help them optimize through data, business intelligence, as you say, Assaf, help them optimize so they can deliver as much volume at the highest value possible? Why is that still the case?
It's about sustainability, I think. Fundamentally, if you establish a profitable channel which allows your partner to witness the inevitable profits or losses they generate, it's about creating a win-win situation. It's a more sustainable model in the long term. If you insist on hiding information, then fundamentally there will be a breakdown at some point.
You think operators are insisting on hiding it? You think it's a deliberate act?
I don't know. I don't know if it's deliberate or not. Maybe in some cases it is.
I think something that blows my mind sometimes is if you're buying paid media on Facebook, you are constantly training that algorithm based on lookalike audience, who your highest converting player is, who your highest LTV players are, to be able to extract more value from that platform. You should be doing the same on your partner channel. You should be empowering your affiliates with that data to be able to increase LTV, drop placements that have bad quality traffic, and scale. But there's this natural, it's getting back to partnerships, right? At the end of the day, these are partner programs. If operators give data to their partners in a way that they can utilize to increase volume, value, and better optimization, they can train them over time to make that happen. Vice versa, if that happens, you're going to have affiliate partners and your traffic partners that are going to share more data with you as an operator, right? Whether that's through passing information through sub-IDs or being more transparent in the data and traffic that you're buying, which increases the likelihood of that relationship being profitable for both parties. And I just think at the end of the day, I think operators believe that if they share more data, they will pay more for traffic in certain instances. And vice versa. I don't know that all affiliates, and not to call anyone out, are asking for that data, because at the end of the day, they know that their CPAs might drop because of what that value actually speaks to. So I think you need to come back to basics, like I think Allan said in the previous speech, where we are building partnerships. And I just think that's not what we're seeing right now in the US.
I just want to add that we're all B2B software companies, and I've seen a bigger interest grow year after year where I think people looked at everything we do, and including affiliate program softwares, and think that it's not really a sexy business. But now we're in a space where people are finding more interest in it. And a key word or a phrase that's not really mentioned is business intelligence. You Google business intelligence and look up that industry outside of iGaming and outside of affiliate marketing, and it's massive. Like Salesforce owns Tableau software. And I think what's happening right now is that we've got a lot of affiliate managers that are kind of like the sounding boards to the owners or the operators or the management. And they're the ones kind of like the gatekeepers of like which programs to use. And when you start asking a lot of affiliate managers going, questions like, do you know the conversion rate of all your landing pages? And when they kind of say yes, but the answer is no, it's a real telling sign that affiliates are sitting on a lot of their own data sets, and operators have a lot of data sets. And I think we're just starting to open up a new era where smart operators are actually looking at that data, and they're able to make sense of it, and they have their own analysts. Like you just look at go on LinkedIn and look at those keywords for like business intelligence, data and analysts, data scientists, and find out where they're working on which companies, and you're going to start seeing signs of who's actually planting the seeds, planning for the next couple of years. And I think for all of us on stage, we already see what's happening behind the scenes, and not everyone's been talking to us yet, but the ones that know, they're kind of happy to keep it quiet, where they're enjoying that kind of that market share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping it very quiet, though, to my mind. I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. We're seeing right now, we've got Massachusetts rolling out this week, we think. But beyond that, there doesn't seem to be much hope of any new states launching this year. Operators with no future state rollouts on the horizon, we hear this word, a push to profitability, which as an affiliate marketer has always felt fairly nonsensical in this market. Do you think, heart of hearts, right now, that you're going to, from an affiliate model, you're going to see more focus on tracking, more focus on partnerships with affiliates this year?
I think we will. I think it's going to quickly become a question of survival, right? Because there will be the operators that are already operating in this market and are already using the right technologies, and the ones that are not. And and affiliates are going to make the choice. The affiliates know his system, my system, his system, and his, and the words goes around very quickly. And affiliates have the power to drive the traffic or to stop the traffic. If they are not going to get that transparency, then they're going to say, okay, we're not going to promote you. We're going to stop the buck, because we know that other people use technology to give us what we need. So there will be a push for this, and I think it's going to be very, very quick, because the market here has moved very, very quickly. We are seeing people that were investing millions and now are pulling slowly out because they've invested too many millions in the wrong things. So I think now it's time of reflection of them looking at, okay, what we were doing wrong and how we go back to it and how we improve this. And the only way of improving it, it's tracking and technology, and that's it.
And I also think we need to get to volume, right? And at the end of the day, you have your set of current iGaming affiliates who are in the US market. Many of them have spoken on panels over the last 2 days, who are continuing to grow and they're driving high volumes in this industry. They don't even begin, and no disrespect to any of them, it's just truth, they don't begin to touch the volume that is outside of the iGaming industry in the US market. Of publishers, communities, platforms that don't touch this industry because of the lack of tracking. And the moment that we kind of grow up as an industry and we start having better technology, we unlock pockets of traffic that are not even looking this way right now. And we like to think like betting, iGaming, et cetera, is the end-all be-all of what's coming in the US market. It's still so tiny. And there are publishers who are driving millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars of traffic in other verticals who can come in and be insanely large players in this industry that don't touch it. So not only are you limiting who you're currently working with, you're not unlocking the potential of the US market, which there's tons. So I think that's important to note as well.
Yeah, to some extent, it's inevitable, right? So many operators have been hemorrhaging money because of bad management that kind of was the stemming out of this bad technology that they were using. For them to survive, they have to upgrade in order to find profitability in the channel. And like Allan said before, that's a cheat code. A well-performing performance marketing department is the holy grail for any CMO, buying performance at a cost.
Yeah.
We learned, I certainly learned yesterday in a panel from the BetMGM Director of Gaming, Ollie Bartlett, who's talking about the importance in this market over any other of iOS in particular. He said it accounts for 63% of all bets, which is the BetMGM casino product. It has always been, to my mind, as a affiliate user, as an affiliate manager user of affiliate software, one of the biggest hurdles for operators to overcome, and obviously affiliates to overcome, the convergence between app tracking and affiliate tracking. Without being too salesy right now, what solutions are there in the market to help affiliates and operators overcome that issue?
There are solutions. I mean, there are many technical companies that do track the conversions from download to sign up, and the good affiliate marketing solutions are the ones that are, if they contract that themselves, that are able to receive the information through third parties. So there are solutions, and people are not necessarily using them in the right way.
I could talk technology all day, but if we're talking practicality here, at the end of the day, driving users to an app, you are going to have drop-off at some point, unless you are an in-app affiliate. In that case, you have a good business you're working through, whether it's Napsfly or Coachella Adjust, and you're running traffic that way, right? I am a big believer that for most affiliates, especially guys and girls who run websites or buy paid media, you want to be driving traffic to web, and you do not want that path disrupted by pushing anyone into an app, because you will lose 30 to 50% of tracking instantly. And at the end of the day, that user flow, and we talk about how these user journeys are so difficult to get through, they become even more difficult when you have to download an app, open an app, put in your information. Brands should be collecting, at the very least, name, email address on some sort of short form web page where you can attribute that lead back to where it came from. Then you can push them into an app as a retention tool or as a conversion tool. But at the end of the day, if you really want to understand where you're getting traffic from, and again, I'll exclude any app-to-app publishers, you should not only be thinking about, okay, what technology do I need to do this, but where am I actually driving my users, right? So that you're not losing them in a app uploading in 5 seconds, or you're not losing them because that journey's not sticky. Like at the end of the day, you want to get people on your website, you want to collect that data as quickly as possible. And with cookies deprecating, once you have that first-party data, then you can do so much with it. So it's important that you get it as quickly as possible.
I think as well, it's like, I don't know how much operators kind of monitor their attribution. Like, are you getting players hitting from, let's say, blackjack pages? And on the other side of the fence, I think there's a lot of affiliates that are not really aware of what's driving a lot of their traffic. So I think what we really see is like the top of the food chain in both operators and affiliates, they're spending the time and investing in the tech to basically make that happen. I think with the US, because everything was like, we need to get an MVP product to the market because the doors are open, we need to start taking business. I think this is going to be the next evolution of having tracking that's first for the operators, because operators aren't always just going to do this for affiliates, but that feedback is still going to be important for affiliates, whether it's handed to them on a plate, or maybe it's made possible that the affiliates can kind of make some sort of connectivity to that affiliate software and go, okay, I can actually attribute this, that, you know, when I'm sending all this traffic, it might look like a blank, you know, set of tables, but you can say, hey, maybe it's the blackjack page that's actually driving all of my revenue. And I mean, who cares if they're spending time on the app? Maybe that's one more benefit to say, well, hey, if you want to kind of learn from that and say, you know, maybe you can actually, maybe you have an app marketing page, or maybe you're an app marketer. You know, it's as much feedback and data you can get, the better.
Can I add one thing there? I think it's also important. And again, I think we're all a little bit victim of it at these conferences, to think about affiliates as people who run large SEO sites and they own a bunch of web pages and owned inventory, right? At the end of the day, a lot of publishers globally, and we've had some of them on panels here, and where the industry is going, are publishers that are buying paid media. And if you don't get data in their hands in real time as quickly as possible for them to be able to optimize on their end, they cannot be profitable. And if they can't be profitable, they will turn off your traffic. So it's not always an instance of, hey, you know, they have this unlimited amount of SEO traffic, they're running at 500% margin and they don't need the data. You have people buying traffic who are relying on that data to be able to run at 20% margin. And who's going to win is who gets data in their hands the quickest. I'm a firm believer of that.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. It's basically the fact that will be a competitive advantage. The fact that you have these media powerhouses being enabled in the sense that they can get the right data back in time to optimize on their campaigns. That's going to be it's going to be a filter at some point.
You can see it with the increased demand of post-back tracking, you know, where, you know, affiliates want the response right away because they can see the views, they can see the clicks, but they need to know about, you know, the sign-up, the first-time deposit, so that they can optimize all these campaigns. So this is why, I mean, post-back tracking has been so much in demand in the past couple of years, actually. It has really increased.
And I think we're talking about affiliates up here, but we can talk all traffic channels at the end of the day, right? I don't think we need to be specific to only affiliates here. It is not good enough to say I'm buying Facebook traffic, it's converting an X amount and my CPA is Y. Well, are those ad sets converting and turning an ROI for you? Do you have the ability to even understand that? Like you start going down down the path of what kind of data do you need as an operator to be successful? And it's not just evaluating affiliates and their placements. It's, are my ad sets on Facebook turning an ROI? Are my keywords on Google turning an ROI? Like at the end of the day, no one currently in the market is able to evaluate that quickly. It's taking days or months to be able to
I think you're assuming that the operator understands what the affiliates needs. And I think sometimes it's not the case. I think we are overestimating the operators and sometimes underestimating the affiliates. You know, the operator, I mean, fights for his own money. The affiliates needs to be fed better data. It's not necessarily always.
100%. I don't even think they're I think what I was trying to say is they're not even feeding their own internal paid media with the proper data that they need to be successful. Yeah. And if we realize that they're not doing that for their own media buy-in, where do affiliates rank in their importance in terms of giving them data, right? And I think that's the biggest concern is once they start realizing that they need it themselves and their partners need it, maybe the market wakes up a little bit.
And I think this goes full circle back to the education. It's like, you know, how many affiliate managers or programs know that, you know, they might need postbacks or pixel tracking to make this happen. And they're just not really aware that what's the value in having real time or data by the hour. Like for the longest time in iGaming, you log into your affiliate programs and you get your data. It's updated only once a day, like every 24 hours. And for performance marketing, that's just not going to cut it. And literally performance marketing people are dragging operators to some of these software companies up here and other tracking softwares and say, if you don't do this, you will not get any of our traffic. And some of these people are big players that drive a lot of depositing players. And I think this is going to be what's next on the horizon for the US market.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's unforgivable that it hasn't happened in a market that is 99% CPA. Historically, the reason that happened was because most deals in Europe and around the world were revenue share, getting that data uploaded. You can't do those instantly. So without being too negative, I want to flip this to be a bit more positive and say, it's one thing this year to give everyone a takeaway, one thing that an operator or an affiliate could do to try and improve issues around tracking, try to improve transparency between each other as partners. Clemence, do you want to go first?
I think, you know, I'll go back to education. I think and I hope there are no affiliate managers here that may get offended, but I think it's all education about the people that work within the program. We see too many affiliate managers with the responsibility of thousands and thousands of euros in their hands, not only about the program, but also of affiliates, because they actually help affiliates to make decisions. And unless we're going to educate these people, and unless these people are going to understand what we all do and how things works, then things are not going to move fast enough. So I think what we need to do is educate, and do more panels, speak to each other a bit more, and try to turn around that industry, I think.
Assaf?
Yeah, that's an industry-wide challenge, but I'm going to resonate back to what John said before. I think the data frequency and updates is quite fundamental to taking this forward. So it's going to enable a lot more players to be engaged. It's going to show the industry what can be done with it. So this is both fundamental as well, what I think.
Cool.
And I'm going to go back to education in the sense that what you're saying about having that data frequency is important. They need to understand why it's important. And I think these panels, I'm excited to be on this one and talk about all this stuff. I think we actually have to take on more responsibility in sharing a lot of these things where it's not just terminology, it's educating them, how do you look at your own data sets and make the right analysis from it. I think once we start doing that, people are going to make the right decisions to go, I know either what software I need or what I need to build in-house or what I need to do next.
Yeah, and I'll take a little bit of a step back. I think we've been a little bit, I want to say negative, but we've attacked operators and affiliates while sitting up here at the end of the day, right? I think they've had a lot of pressure. States have been opening up very quickly, and at the end of the day, there's priorities in terms of go-to-market and gaining market share as quickly as they can. I think in the positive light, I've personally seen a lot of the larger companies in the space hiring heads of data, user acquisition, data specialists, where they're starting to realize the importance of this. And I think it takes champions internally to be able to push for the importance of using platforms like some of us up here, right? And I think we're starting to see movement in that direction, and we know things don't happen overnight, but I think over the last 6 months, there's been positive movement in this direction. And I think by this time next year, you're going to see a lot more of a data-driven approach to user acquisitions.
Let's hope so. Well, that's all we've got time for. So thank you to the panel.
Thank you.
And thank you to all.
Thank you.